Welcome to a platform where we debate on the top stories of the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, and other leagues with the best in the world of sports. You'll also get interviews with many athletes and media talents at several basketball events, including the WNBA and college basketball. My name is Rafique Louison, and this is nothing. Yeah, not a good night in MLB postseason for the New York teams. As I welcome to this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Rafique Louison alongside Ryan Walker. How you doing tonight?
Tired, but I'm here. We rocking.
Yeah, we rock it, but the Bronx and Queens is not because, the Mets 2 nights in a row they got smacked around by the Dodgers. I mean, at least this time they scored some runs, unlike the first two losses in the series. But outside that, the pitcher was just not enough to stop Ohtani, Mookie Betts' bats, literally.
You know, the Dodgers are better than them. Nothing else to say really about that one. The Dodgers are a better team. They're proving it. The Mets magical run most likely is over. So, nothing astonishing for me. The Dodgers are a better team. They're playing better. The Mets have, they had the 44 comeback wins during the season. The whole, with you, and it's cool and cute, and the whole in New York with the grabbing of this grimace thing, and the whole OMG thing, and everything, and it's cute and it's great for camaraderie and get everything, and they got timely situating hitting and clutch hitting, and their manager made a lot of good decisions, like putting Francisco Lindor to lead off at the top of the order was key for them surging. When they were playing bad at the end of the season and click later, in those 12, 13 games, Lindor was out. And that had a big part to do with their team. They had Geoff Magliocchetti out for the season. Senga was out for most of the season and, came back for 1 or 2 postseason starts. But they have no bullpen. And sometimes when you're having success in certain situations, it'll blind you from the keys besides Edwin Diaz in the ninth, and he's coming off major surgery, and he hasn't really been himself since the big season he had about 2 seasons ago, I believe. They don't have anything in the bullpen, and the Dodgers are a complete team, and you got to play a complete game in order to beat them. So still mathematically in the series, they have one more game at home, but they're done. They don't have what it takes to beat this team, unfortunately. And that's why it's cool to watch when the Mets do make a run and how everybody gets around them, because the reality of it is there's still some things on the team that they need to work on. And they had health and other issues that will go from there. But the Dodgers are the better team, so there's nothing really to talk about with those realms. The Yankees had a tough loss. I agree. But here's why the metaphor what you said is true, because they both got a loss tonight to the Bronx Rock and Queens Rocking. But the difference is that the Yankees are up 2-1.
Exactly.
And they should have won tonight, or last night, or earlier. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We're recording, but they should have won the game. They were down 3-1. They were up 1-0 originally. Carefully, they go down 3-1. They had great hitting by their 2 big studs in the bottom of the 8th, where Judge gets a 2-run shot. I forgot who. I think Soto drew a walk. Judge hits a big shot, and Giancarlo comes up and hits a solo home run and gives them a 4-3 lead. And let me tell you, I'm gonna give you, if anything, next week, or when you edit this next 2-3 minutes. If you want to put this on the gram, and I'm going to make sure people hear this, I'm going to educate you about baseball. Aaron Boone, listen to me. I don't care who wants to get mad. I don't care who thinks they know the game analytically. I've never been an Aaron Boone fan. I'm sorry. I don't care who want to press it. He probably, yes, he know more baseball than me, but I know the game. And I've never been a fan. If the Yankees win, I always tell people it'll be in spite of him, not not with the addition of him per se. Now I'm going to tell you the education lesson. You grab the lead 4-3, right? You go now to the bottom of the eighth. You get out the bottom of the eighth. You bring in, I believe it was Logan who was in there, because the other guy is the closer. You get to the ninth inning. You keep the young man in. Hey, it's not a safe situation. He's doing well. I get it. Keep him in. I have no problem with that. And you're not going to the closer at that time. Holmes. You get Anthony Rizzo makes the most ridiculous. Josh Birdie played first base today, and he's still learning how to play first base, and actually played a very good first base. You could see a couple things where he was still learning the position, and still played a good first base. And if you're watching the game, you hear the announcers saying that how Rizzo, which I'm pretty sure was a great impact to Birdie and teaching him things on defensively and how to play at first base and so on and so forth. I'm pretty sure he did good things. Boy, did the announcers set up something for an absolute problem, because Rizzo was teaching him, but played an actual terrible first base as a veteran today. He boots a ball, they save his life, and they get a double play. So they erase what happens, right? You have 2 outs. You got a young man up there that's never been in this situation closing-wise in a big game like this, and he's got 2 outs. His best pitch is a slider. So for people that don't know, a slider has fastball tendency to an extent, but it cuts off. It literally slides. So it's like a good pitcher with a slider is going anywhere from 87 to 91 miles an hour, right? A good sliders. The guys that can get 92, 93, those are the young dogs, big time live arms. You have 2 outs. You have a 2-run lead in the bottom of the ninth. By golly, Aaron Boone, somebody go to the mound before the last out and talk to the kid and say, young man, forget your slider right now. Do me a favor. The first pitch, I want you to throw a fastball right down the middle. Even if we set up on the outside half and it's a fastball on the outside half, so you don't throw a direct cookie down the plate. But your first pitch is going to be a fastball. Let's start the count off ahead of the count with a strike. And then when you get into a rhythm with that, if you want to throw the slider as a secondary pitch because that's your good pitch, cool. But I'd rather you get ahead of the count, and if you throw the slider in the next pitch and go 1-1, at least you still have a ball and a strike. No, what you do is, because remember, Wells is struggling hitting. So Wells wasn't the starting catcher. It was actually Trevino who won a gold glove and a platinum glove catching position. And it was an all-star 2 years ago, right? Trevino started the game. You bring Wells in later on, which he still didn't hit, and to also help as a catcher because he does very well with the other guys. But Wells is a young kid. So that means Aaron Boone is probably taking care of most of the calls, as in balls and strikes and whatever he's throwing and managing the game, because he's a young kid playing the catcher, right? Why do you go behind in the count? 3 balls, no strikes. You're up 2 runs with 2 outs. This in baseball when you see the catcher do all that stuff. This means fastball. It don't change. It ain't changed from middle school. It ain't changed from high school to the pros. This just means where you want it to be at. You throw fastball, kid. The first ball should be a fastball. If you throw a fastball in the first pitch and the guy hits a home run, by golly, you shake his hand because they're professionals. That's what they're supposed to do. But if you go down 0-3 in the count and nobody has a conversation with this kid at any point, the catcher doesn't hit his glove, say, gets the next pitch. All right, now, Rafique, now that you got a lesson with it. If you're down 3 balls and you have no strikes, right? That means eventually you have to throw a strike, right? You can't unintentionally walk the tying run to the plate. That's stupid. Now you're going to get a bigger conversation the next day if you give up a 2-run home run because walks hurt, right? Now you got to throw a fastball when your secondary pitch is better is the fastball compared to your slider. So you throw a cookie right down the plate. The guy hits it off the top of the fence. for a double for a double. All right, you got a wake up call now. Hey, listen, the next guy up is a good hitter, young player with a lot of pop.
A guy named Hon. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his name. I'll just say Jay Noel.
Noel, correct. So Noel
Gets a 2-run bomb. That was ridiculous. The fact that
two-run crush job. I knew it from the minute I knew it was up.
I mean, and Brian Anderson gave the nickname Christmas because it was literally Christmas in Cleveland early.
We're supposed to be up 3-0 with a commanding lead, and on the road to try to get to the World Series. But they gave up the 2-run shot. The Guardians were very resilient. And
Fry extended it with a 2-run blast in the very next inning.
Yep. And both of those times it happened with 2 outs. So these are things that, to me, Aaron Boone's got to take that one on the chin. And, you got to step in when it's big moments. Somebody's got to step in and speak to these guys, especially when they've never been in those certain situations. They didn't do that. Cost of the game, the only thing we got to look at is, hey, your job in the Cleveland is to win 1 game, minimum. So make sure that you have 2 games of a caveat to go back home and wrap it up in the Bronx. But boy, if there was ever a game on the road that there was going to be a guaranteed one for them to steal, it was a few hours ago and they let that one go.
Yeah, these New York Yankees. Well, let's not forget, unlike the New York Mets, the Yankees, at least they have a series lead and they still got a chance to actually fit, and they can still get at least 1 game in Cleveland. Heck, they can win both games in Cleveland and wrap it up. And the last few postseason series between the between the Yankees and the Guardians, where the Guardians had a walk-off win, the Yankees eventually recovered and won. So, so you being a Yankee fan, all I gotta say is just hope they win the next game.
That will be fine. They just gotta get 1 game down there. That'd be all right.
They'll be all right.
Take it on the chin. A loss is a loss anyway. It's tough, so they'll just bounce back from it. They'll just know that they had the opportunities to wrap it up, and they just have to just be a little bit better with it. It's just tough when you have when you're 1 out away from doing it, and it's like, come on, you got to start off that count and get ahead of the count and throw a fastball. You just got, whatever it is, you got to start off the count with strikes. And when you go behind an account, guys are good. No matter how cold they are, you throw cookies down there, they know it's coming, they're gonna hit it. And that was it. And we gave that Cleveland life. We gave the Cleveland fans and the team a little bit of life. Because I would have been going crazy too if I was on the opposite end of that. So they did well. They took care of their business. We got to just find a way to just get 1 road win down there. But the reality with the other side with the Mets and Queens is that, like I said, it's both series still far from over, but the Mets series most likely is over. But I don't want to sound braggadocious, but I knew they couldn't beat the Dodgers. We knew that, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm going to share a break with you on this one because we get too caught up I got too caught up in the turnaround the Mets have had. Mets have had, and the major contribution to the Mets 22 and 33 starts that they took 2 out of 3 in LA, but when they got to Citi Field, the Dodgers just pretty much smoked them out.
Yeah, and then you know what? So
they're not good enough to beat the Los Angeles Dodgers when you get caught up in the turnaround. When fans like myself get caught up in the turnaround at the last minutes.
It's so crazy, and with the reality of that whole situation too. And now, from point, like I said, they've had a good run. They had a terrible
inspirational run.
Right. They had a terrible April. They got back into the hunt. They got really hot. They won a lot of games. I believe they won a lot of games in the second half. They did well against my Yankees in the regular season series. They did very well with that. They had the OMG thing, the Grimace thing. They had a lot of camaraderie, spirit. But here goes the reality of it. At the end part of the season, the Mets were playing good baseball. It also didn't help that they didn't have Francisco Lindor, who's key to the top of their lineup and what he's done this year during that 12, 13-game stretch. But they were playing good baseball. They pretty much back-ended into the playoffs. The series before against Milwaukee, I think they lost like 2 out of 3 in that series.
They did. If you talk about the regular season portion, they got when they needed in Milwaukee, and then of course they split with the Atlanta Braves.
Yes.
We're
Now,
fortunate to get those wins. And then, of course, the NL Wild Card Series, if Pete Alonso doesn't hit that home run, you would have been dead. If Francisco Lindor didn't hit that 2-run shot in the first part of doubleheader against the Atlanta Braves, that would have easily been avoided if it not been for the hurricane situation down in Georgia. And if Pete Alonso did not hit that 3-run bomb in Game 3 against the Milwaukee Brewers, and if Francisco Lindor didn't hit that grand slam in Game 4, you would have been right all along when it comes to talk about the New York Mets. And you're probably right about it right now because they got what, let's see, a total of 18-2 runs in the 2 losses City Field. Yikes. And Ohtani contributed to that for them, for those runs. I said that Ohtani is no joke. I said it literally. Anytime you go up against a team that has a player with 50 home runs and 50-plus stolen bases, you know you're going to run into some serious problems. Kiki Hernandez is racking up. Mookie Betts, who's known to play in the World Series, is going to rack up some hits. This Dodgers team is just different from the ones that best defeated in 06 and 2015. Even with Clayton Kershaw not playing.
correct. Very good team. And, they're 1 win away from doing what they got to do. I wish I could say the same about Yanks about being 1 win away. But they have another opportunity tonight to take care of what they got to take care of. And, like I said, the Dodgers are just a better team. And,
yeah. But don't worry, if the Mets can't take care of the Dodgers, at least they have the Yankees, assuming they can get it together and finish off the Cleveland Guardians, there'll be another New York team that gets shot at the Dodgers.
That's what we want, really. That's what we want. I got a lot of people already, the Mets guys, who are conceding. It's so crazy. I have my man in the back here. I always talk about my man, Augustine, Mets fan. And I always like to see the plight of their energy change. So when they knew they were going to play the Dodgers, it was like, oh, we had a good year. And my guy that's in the back, and then we're going to get to that in a second. You know that I actually picked the Aces to win the championship last year against our Liberty. As much as I'm a huge Liberty fan, and I'm not preluding into the Liberty, you're going to open that up. But the reason why I brought this up is because I was watching the game, and last year he caught me when I was a little hype, and when the Liberty got to the finals, and he liked the Liberty, but he's like one of those hating guys who's like, "Oh, the Aces are gonna win, man." I was like, "What do you mean, man? Why you got all that energy for the Aces, man? We from New York, like, no, we going whatever, but we still ride with the Liberty." So it caught me with a bet with the Aces. I told them the Liberty gonna win. Liberty let me down, but I knew they were gonna lose the series. But I just wasn't gonna let him get the fact of talking about one of the New York teams bad. So he had the Liberty. So I texted him. I was breaking his chops. I was like, "Oh, you don't want to take no bets with me this year with the Liberty, right? So you don't want to take it against the Aces this year. Now you're 100% Liberty. You switch sider." And he's like, "No, they look good. They're gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right." I said, "Yeah, I know they're gonna be all right. They're gonna do mess around and win it." So he texted back and he said, "Knicks, Liberty, and Mets." He's a Mets fan. So during the text early this morning, this is when they lost. The first game went down 2-1. They didn't just happen what happened now. So I said to him, I said, "You notice I didn't mention text or nothing to you about no baseball. Let's talk about the Liberty." I said, "You don't want to talk about baseball now. You got a lot of problems and things to think about." It's like, "Yeah, true." And then he started going, Dodgers, Yankees gonna be in the World Series. He said, "Yankees are gonna sweep the Guardians." I said, "The Yankees are not gonna sweep the Guardians." Now you see, I knew I was right. I said, "The Yankees are not gonna sweep the Guardians." I said, "I think most likely we're gonna win, but we're not gonna sweep them." "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna sweep them. It's a sweep, I promise you." Oh, da da da. Then he said, "We had an easy road to the World Series." I said, "Stop right there." I said, let's stop right there. Don't do that." I said, first of all, you're conceding that you know that the Dodgers are going to kick your ass. Don't do that. You have the same energy that you had last week. And I said, second thing of all, I said, there's no easy road and we didn't have any easy road to anything yet. I said, Kansas City, just like similarities to the Mets, had struggles this year and bounced back when it was time and did very well. It was a very scrappy team. And we have to remember that Kansas City in their first series beat a team that nobody expected them to beat, right? Remember, Detroit beat the Houston Astros, right? And Kansas City just ran through Baltimore. So I said, we played a team that every game we won was by like only 2 runs tops or 1 tops. They gave us everything that we can handle, even in a series where we won 3-1. And then I said, right now, we're playing the Cleveland Guardians that, just in case you didn't know, had the 5th best record in baseball. The other 4 teams that had better records than them, including ourselves, the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Phillies, all have a way more humongous payroll than Cleveland does. The only other team that's in that same loop to them is the Milwaukee Brewers, who are a lower market team, and they were 4th. So, and the Cleveland Guardians were 5th. So the Dodgers had the best record, then the Phillies, then the Yankees, then the Brewers, then the Cleveland Guardians. So I said, what easy road are you talking about? You're talking about a team that won the division. They didn't back into the postseason like you did and get it on the last day. So stop that. You guys played Milwaukee, who you were clearly you knew you were better than. Don't let the fact that they won the division and they won more games than you try to lie to somebody that doesn't know baseball. The Mets had a better team than the Brewers, even with not having home field. They had no home field to have in that series because they didn't qualify to earn it. It was a wild card round, but they still dusted through the Brewers, really. They really should have just swept them. They dusted through the Brewers, and they played the Phillies, and here goes the thing with the Phillies. The Phillies had an injury hit year. They had a few guys down, and the fact of the matter is the Mets played better against the Phillies in the regular season and actually really dominated them in the regular season, so they were confident enough that they knew they could beat the Philadelphia Phillies, who weren't hitting a lick. Now you're playing a team that's way better than you, and you see what's going on. So cut that easy road crap out. There is no easy road. This is postseason baseball. And the reality of it is that the Dodgers are better, and I would love to actually win to play the Dodgers, because if we play the Dodgers and beat them, then that shuts everything up.
You do know the Dodgers will have home field advantage, right?
I don't care. They have the best record in baseball, so they have the home field advantage.
Yeah. Listen.
Their home crowd is not scary. That Cleveland home crowd.
If my Mets could not defeat the Dodgers,
we're not the Mets.
Okay, so that's Patrick. I'm sure he's gonna probably.
We're not. No, I know you like both teams. We're not y'all. We're not the Mets. So just because that is happening to y'all or them against the Dodgers does not mean that's not going to happen to us. I guarantee you that. That's not going to happen to us. And if the Mets are capable to go down there and win one playoff, San Diego won in LA. The Mets went down there and win in LA. So our goal would be the same thing like them if we got to the World Series. I believe it's still that 2-3-2 format, right?
Yeah.
So if they steal the one game in LA, the LA crowd is not that raucous where you were.
Ryan, I've been to Dodger Stadium. I've been to Dodger Stadium in 2008. The crowd in LA is something else.
So that's a bunch of crap. Stop it.
2007, excuse me. I've been to Dodger Stadium. I know what I'm talking about.
We're watching the games now. The Cleveland crowd is more of a raucous crowd than that LA crowd. Stop it. You're not getting that one. The LA Dodger fans are rich, pompous people from California that stay in the sun all day, and because the Dodgers are good, they're waving towels and boo. Oh, stop it. Stop it. The Mets with no bullpen went down there and crashed them in a game. You're telling me the Yankees can't go on the road and win a game down there? And our home crowd is not their home crowd. A lot more different. It is more than attainable to win a game down there. I'm just going to say this if we get there. The Yankees are not afraid of the Dodgers. And if they play the Dodgers, they will not be getting their behind kicked like the Mets are right now. No way possible.
If you listen to my interview with Geoff Magliocchetti in the last episode, I mentioned before the Yankees did lose 2-3 against the Dodgers in the Bronx. So
we only played them 3 times. It's a small template. And when did they lose? There was a time during the
it was from June 7th to June 9th.
That's when the Yankees weren't playing well. That's when we started going on our decline for that little month and a month and a half. So, hooray to them. They won a 2 out of 3 set. This is postseason. Everything is going to be different. Bro, the Dodgers were on the brink of elimination from the Padres.
You got a point.
What are we talking about here? It's all about matchups and different things. They'll have to adjust too. If we get to the World Series, they'll have to see Garrett Cole. They'll have to see Carlos Rodon. The Yankees, don't let tonight happen. The Yankees have an impressive bullpen. That's another reason why we're still playing good baseball. You know what I'm saying? Our guys are actually starting to heat up. Arron Judge is starting to hit. Stan is hitting. Soto is hitting. It's the other little key guy. Like Verdugo got a big hit tonight. Volpe's always been hitting. I wish we could get Wells into the mix. Maybe we got to put him lower in the lineup. But all I'm just saying is this. I'm not saying that if the Dodgers can't beat and won't win if we play them in the World Series. We're just not going to – that's what's going on with y'all. It's not going to go on with us. I promise you that.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. But let me ask you a question. Can the pitchers slow down Ohtani?
Nobody can slow down Ohtani. Can they stop Judge?
Judge, listen, before the home runs,
can they stop Judge?
Arron Judge was batting 125 to begin the postseason.
Bro, Ohtani had a home run, the night before, right?
Yes.
And then before that, he didn't hit a home run until the second game of the postseason. You know, we go off these numbers that are so spliced. Judge has had a lot of times where he hasn't hit well in the postseason. But we also have to look at the number of times he had at bats and the teams he was playing and certain things that occurred. We're just looking at the home runs and so on and so forth. Well, if you're talking to me about he had a home run tonight, right?
Yes, he did. But the batting average wasn't that good to begin the postseason.
Who are the top 2 players in baseball?
Arron Judge, Ohtani.
Have a good night.
All right.
So you're like, bro, the only reason why Ohtani's going to win flat-out league MVP is because he had 50 homers and 50 stolen bases. Let's not get this misconstrued. Arron Judge is having a remarkable, phenomenal year. If it wasn't for the 50 homers and 50 stolen bases, he would win every award.
Nobody's going to touch 50 stolen bases like Ohtani did.
That's why he's going to win the MVP, and the Dodgers were the number one. Who's going to be the American League MVP?
Arron Judge.
Right. And if Ohtani didn't have the 50 home runs and the 50 stolen bases, Arron Judge would be the league MVP.
You got a point.
Ohtani's going to get it because of the remarkable record that he did. I'm not poo-pooing on it. 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases that designated here is astronomical. It probably might not get done ever again in the history of life. But don't sit here and act like Arron Judge is New England cream chowder because he batted 1 and change for the first couple of times in the postseason. Because if he does wake up, the Dodgers are going to have a serious problem on their hands.
You got a point.
Come on, we got guys in our lineup that can hit too. Giancarlo Stanton is playing remarkable and hitting remarkable in postseason. Why are you not giving me those numbers? Why are you not telling me he's 5th all-time in Yankees home runs? Why are you not telling me that he's 5th all-time in postseason all-time history OPS?
Let's not forget most of those numbers. This is when he was playing for the Marlins, and the Marlins stink.
The Marlins. Rafique, Rafique, turn the air off. The Marlins didn't go to the postseason when he was there.
Exactly.
The postseason numbers are with the Yankees, Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
He didn't go to the playoffs with the Marlins.
I know he didn't play it. I'm just talking about like how good Carlos Stanton's. We know how good Stanton's numbers can be.
Right. So you correct. You get with that. Pardon me. So Stanton's numbers with us is all postseason. Soto is doing this right now in postseason. All these guys are doing this now. You know what I'm saying? I watched Barry Bonds not hit in postseason. I watch Alex Rodriguez not hit in the postseason, and they get
okay. Before he had that run in 2009, they won the
correct. So it's so tough.
Ohtani hasn't knocked the socks off the baseball the whole postseason. Like I said before the home run the other day, he didn't. His last home run was in game 2. So he has a quality team as well. So when he's not doing well, you have Mookie Betts, you have Freddie Freeman, you have Max Muncy, you have guys that.
Don't forget about him. Kike Hernandez, he had a crazy bomb.
And Kike Hernandez, you have guys that pick up in the lineup. And I see it happening. Once the Yankees offense starts completely clicking, they can undeniably give the Dodgers a headache, just like the Dodgers can give us a headache. We have starting pitching. We have a Cy Young winning guy. We have Carlos Rodon, who's been absolutely amazing in the playoffs. And Schmidt is not terrible. Schmidt pitched well yet today. So the guy, we have just enough guys to make it interesting. I promise you that if we play the Dodgers, it's going 7 games. I promise you we're not losing in no 4 games like that. I promise you we won't go 0-2 in their crib or go 1-1 and come to Citi Field and come to the Bronx and lose the first 2 at home. I guarantee you that.
You're right. I'm not going to argue with you on that one. The Yankees have the offense to beat the Dodgers, regardless of the hometown discrepancy. Yeah.
What we're gonna see, and listen, I'm not supporting no LA team if the Yankees go. You already know that already, so I don't even want to hear none of that nonsense. And sometimes you don't necessarily have to look better on to beat somebody. It's all about how you're playing at that point in time.
You got an interesting point. You got a point. All right, now you have to transition to the next topic because I'm still on cloud 9 right now after a crazy shot, which may not be the same amount of feet as Teresa Witherspoon, but it's up there. As soon that this other New York team that's in the postseason in October could actually finish the story, it'll go down as one of the craziest shots of all time. And I'm talking about Sabrina Ionescu, game-winning shot against the Minnesota Lynx in Game 3. You heard my reaction to it when Geoff Magliochetti's interview? Just look at the link in the description. But yeah, what are your thoughts about that, Ryan? Because you can't get better than that. I mean, you can, but you can't.
I'm gonna tell you something. The distance of the Teresa Witherspoon shot, because it was a longer shot, and the fact that it went off the backboard perfectly for glass was beautiful. But this shot is bigger than that shot. This shot by far is the biggest shot in New York Liberty history. Sorry, Teresa. You're number 2 now.
If the Liberty finished the story.
Yeah, and here goes the craziest thing. This is why I know it's the biggest shot, bigger than the biggest shot in the history for us. It's one of the biggest shots in WNBA history. It's one of the biggest shots, honestly, now in women's basketball history.
Bigger than Ryan Moore's game-winning shot in 2015 in WNBA playoffs against the Indiana Fever?
Yeah, that was huge. Like that's what the men are doing, but the ladies have been showing that they can do astronomical things. She shot that from like 36 feet. I mean, and that didn't hit a lot of rim. That shot, practically went in. I was elated when she made it. The game 1's like eating me alive now, but they're right there on the cusp of doing something so legendary and so awesome. Sabrina was so phenomenal. I was so hypocritical on her defense on that last possession of game 1, which I won't go back on. But boy, she was so astronomical the last 2 games, and with that last shot, it was amazing. And to a point where they have a chance to win the game tonight. They might have took a lot of steam and confidence out of a really good Minnesota team. I mean, they're really, really good, this team. Really good. They guard, they defend.
They can shoot the ball.
They can shoot it. They're well coached. I mean, I'm impressed. Those some bad girls over there. Okay, and I mean, the shot was just a big time shot, and I think the Liberty are going to take care of their business and wrap this thing up. I think that was huge. The Queen of New York is definitely here. We're missing Nescu.
I'm rocking this shirt for a reason because, yeah, come on. Sabrina Ionescu, man, you can't get any better than that shot. But
amazing. And Rihanna still, oh man, she was
put up 30 and she put up 30 and 11.
I mean, unbelievable. Like 7, 8 blocks, just all over the defensive end. It was such a gritty performance by them to come back and get in the game and win. And one win away. And listen, they should be hungry and humble. They should want to try to wrap it up tonight.
They had to wrap it up. I mean, yeah, it would be nice to have a game 5 at the Barclays Center, considering you couldn't force a game 5 a year ago when they were in the finals and in the finals games I covered last year for this platform. But this besides the points.
Wrap it up. Let's get it right. And hopefully come home and celebrate. So that was the big, and the reason why it's bigger too is because if they go on to win the finals, Teresa did that spot shot, and unfortunately we still lost that WNBA finals and next game to a very good Houston Comets team. But Sabrina might have just elevated herself. And it's so crazy, and eventually I'm not saying nothing bad about it. Like in the last few years, there's been a lot of really good players, like the girls, Lindsey Van Whalens, the Paige Beckers, who eventually will go on and Caitlin Clark, who's done things that's astronomical and changing for the game. But what we kind of forgot through this whole thing in the last few years is that, to a smaller extent, Sabrina Ionescu was Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark. To a smaller extent. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
What she did at Oregon, how incredible she was. And you got to remember, she came to us too when we drafted her really bad. And in a small time, you can see the things that she could do to help the franchise. She helped us one year get to postseason when we were probably really bad or not that well coached or whatever.
You don't need to remind me. As somebody that covers the WNBA closely, you don't need to remind me. There were 7 games below 500 and earned a playoff spot, courtesy of the losses by the Minnesota, courtesy of the Washington Mystics and Los Angeles Sparks losing the final day of the season 2 days after the Liberty wrapped up their regular season. I mean, and then a year later, they had to sweat to get into the playoffs in 2022 off a shocking game 150 before eventually went into bed against the Chicago Sky. And then, of course, the finals run in 2023. We already went over this many times, and then the finals run right now. And getting back to that first year, they were the playoffs versus Sabrina Ionescu. Benai Taleni had a crazy shot to tie the game before everything got messed up at the same Wicklow foul Brianna Turner. She made 1 for 2, and we lose the game. But man, this shot by Sabrina Ionescu was way bigger than the Benai Taleni shot in the 2021 playoffs prior to the eventual loss, and then the Teresa Witherspoon shot. This is way bigger. This is way
just astronomical. So, oh man, I'm happy.
Then the Maya Moore's game winner in Game 3 of the 2015 WNBA Finals against the Indiana Fever, and that dragged on to a Game 5 where the Lynx finished them off, and then of course you had that a year later when Neko Gumick had a putback layup for the Los Angeles Sparks to finish off the Minnesota Lynx in 2016. Man, it's just so many clutch shots in WNBA Finals that you can't really. This has to top that. This has to.
Amazing. One more win. That's all they need, man. Liberty just so happy for what they're doing right now.
Yeah, but let's ask some rapid fire questions. I mean, do you think that this Sabrina Ionescu's game-winning shot is better than Ray Allen's game-time shot in Game 6 of the NBA Finals?
I mean, to me, yeah. I mean, Ray Allen's shot probably be remembered more because it's the NBA and it's the men's game. I get it. I'm saying it's a big-time shot. But I mean, Sabrina's shot is definitely more bigger and more tougher because Ray Allen, remember, he had to go step back. The ball was thrown to him in a position all he had to do was step back and get into the rim to shoot. Sabrina came off a screen and cleared out the screen and dribble drive, made a move to sidestep from like 35 to 36 feet to make the shot. So the degree of difficulty of the shot of Sabrina, what she did, is more difficult than what Ray Allen shot. So to me, it's bigger. And for the game of basketball for New York Liberty history, it's good. It's a pick a shot. You know what I'm saying? It just really is. You know what I'm saying?
Biggest shot. Maybe not as big as Michael Jordan's shot that won the NBA Finals against the Jazz, but it's up there.
Shot.
Crazy.
Big time confidence by Sabrina. They have a good team, man. The girls been good all year, man. Laney, Phoebe, Bree Stewart, Jones. Hopefully Jones, Jones will still be there. We love the Thornton. They added so many keys. Vandersloot playing so well. They did well in the offseason. They did well building this team the last few years. Great key acquisitions, and they got potential if they win to try. They can do it again. They got a lot of girls with that for the next, especially catching Sabrina in the prime. You got Brianna Steele in a nice highlight of prime of her career. They win. They're gonna be in the position to do it again, and or in the next 5 to 6 years have a competitive team several times to be in the mix to do it again.
Exactly. And you know what? It's time to get ready for the parade in New York City.
That's right. I'll be there.
Parade. Assume New York Liberty could wrap it up. If you was in charge of the Liberty organization, where would you put the New York Liberty Championship Parade? At Eastern Parkway or near the Barclays Center? What part of Brooklyn would you put the New York Liberty Parade?
I think they still can do it down Wall Street. I think they should start by the Barclays and then go over the bridge and let people meet them in Manhattan and go down and do it at the end of Manhattan. That's my personal opinion. But if anything, if that's the case, I know everybody would be pissed off. It'd be crazy, Maybe you block off Atlantic Avenue, or maybe you do it down Flatbush and start from the Barclays, however you want it, and do a nice parade. But it'd be cool if it could be a Brooklyn and then still go into Manhattan thing. But like you said, anything up Flatbush or Atlantic, and would definitely start by the Barclays, or wherever you do start, make sure it ends by the area in front of the Barclays and go from there. So it's gonna be huge for New York, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. And don't forget that. It's hard. That's a good location. You could easily put it near the Statue of Liberty because the New York Liberty Basketball Day is based off the Statue of Liberty itself. But with the ocean surrounding, you have to get yeah. I'm sure you're gonna figure something out. But right now, let's wrap up the series before we can think about what we're gonna do with the parade. But your idea is pretty good. I'm gonna make sure that this gets posted on the internet so people could know that.
Yeah, if they just imagine how epic it could be if they could start by the Barclays and start the parade there. And if everybody can't go over the bridge, they have them go over the bridge in the bridge and everybody meets the second part like they do in Manhattan. Every team that wins in New York it's always been down Broad Street, the Canyon of Heroes. You know what I'm saying? Where everything they do right downtown. Giants won, the parade was down there twice. The Yankees won. So if that's continued the theme, being that they're in Brooklyn, have it start by the Barclays, go over the bridge, send them over, and then have a nice float or whatever, meet them downtown by the lower part of Manhattan, because that's how you go get over the bridge anyway. You'll be over there by like Murray Bertram High School, Brooklyn Bridge, that area over there, and then let them continue it out the right way with Manhattan for the parade. But somehow, some way, like you said, front or back, Atlantic or Flatbush Avenue, start the Barclays need to be with it, and it's a good thing. So like you said, if they finish it up, it would be an awesome thing for them to have the parade with some kind of realms of that.
Yeah, and you know what? This shot by Sabrina Ionescu could go down as one of the greatest moments in New York sports history for the rest of our time.
Big time shot.
Yeah.
They might win before my Knicks. That's the only punch somebody gonna try to bring in there. Yo, man. Liberty's on one before the Knicks, though. You seen that? I said, listen, you could diss me on that all day. I'll take that. Knicks time coming eventually, but it's all right. I'll take it.
The New York Knicks have the third best odds to win the NBA championship behind only OKC and Boston after the Karl-Anthony Towns trade.
Well, it's step at a time. And my New York Rangers are competitive too. Contender. We're gonna be championship contenders this year. Well, we got plenty of time to talk about that. So everybody that always think, listen, right now in New York, the only thing that's bad is the football teams.
And you know what? Since you mentioned the football teams, yeah, the Jets picked up Devontae Adams in the trade. So, yeah, you went on a little rant talking about the Robert Sal firing. And thinking the Jets not going to go nowhere. With the Devontae Adams trade to the New York Jets, reuniting with Aaron Rodgers and Al Lazard, does that change the way you think about the New York Jets going forward? Because, come on now.
No.
Really?
Nope.
You talking about Devontae? You know what? You see how good Devontae Adams is. I don't need to say nothing.
I know how good he is. No, he good. He good. Wasn't looking too good on the Raiders though, but he good. And you know, I get everybody go say, oh, they didn't have a quarterback. Oh, they didn't have an O-line. Oh, the team wasn't good. Oh, this is that. Oh, that's why Devontae wasn't good. Hey, State was there. They ain't good. You know what I'm saying? He didn't elevate them, but brother, let me do it the right way. Where they say you're not a hater. Devontae Adams is a really special player. And of course, he will change and have an impact on the Jets. Of course, him going there is for the better. Him and Aaron Rodgers have a good quarterback receiver relationship. They know each other. They made great things happen in Green Bay. And I get it. And like I said, it improves the team. But it doesn't improve the team to me where now this is what Jets fans want. This is what the world of them want. They want you to think that they're 2-4, can't block. Rodgers is not playing well. He's regressing. He's not the guy he was when he was 25. He's not a scrub. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I get it. But he's not 25 anymore. He hasn't been doing well. The defense has played well. But the offense still have chemistry and interesting issues and O-line issues as well, too, honestly. The running backs, they're not giving them great production. So you want me to think that Devontae Adams coming in is going to instantaneously change the franchise, and now the Jets are going to win the division, beat Patrick Mahomes, and possibly Lamar Jackson.
Did not beat Patrick Mahomes, so
come on. I know this. Stop. It made them better, but they're not that much better. Buffalo is still the better team in the division, even with a slight win. Devontae Adams also has to go there and gel. He has to get reacclimated with this offense. Granted, he knows Hackett, he knows Rodgers. Remember, Hackett is not the coordinator, so for offense. So they have to get reacclimated with this. Here goes this. Devontae Adams going there can't necessarily make Aaron Rodgers better. Aaron Rodgers got to get better. Why are we Xing out Aaron Rodgers from all this too? He's not throwing the football like how he used to. Okay, they look quite regular.
Even though he did have a crazy throw to Allen Lazard to end the first half in the loss against the Buffalo Bills. That shows some shades that he still got it, but outside of that, you're right.
In the loss to Buffalo Bills. Glad you said that.
And they probably would have won that game if it wasn't for those 2 missed field goals at the end. That messed up everything.
He going there is going to help, but they still have other. If they can't block for Rodgers, then what's the point of having a really big time receiver? Because you actually got to get the ball to him, and then you got to make sure you're making consistent plays to get it to him. I know why you want the reason why Rodgers definitely wanted Devontae Adams there because he's regressing, and you're not just going to throw the ball just like how you used to anybody. See, you got DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams,
Allen Lazard.
I'm not putting Lazard in this category. Lazard's a good receiver, but what I'm trying to
Garrett
make
Wilson. Garrett Wilson, don't forget about him.
No. None of these guys. Listen, this is what I'm trying to say. Adams, Justin Jefferson on Minnesota, DK Metcalf, and it's like one other two, and he's not as big as the other kid. He's just a monster. The gentleman from the Cincinnati Bengals. What's the young kid? what's the best receiver over there? We just played since the Giants just played Cincinnati. How can I forget this kid's name? But Chase Adams, right? Adams.
Yeah, Adams.
I just don't know. These four guys that I'm talking about preferably, those guys are freak of natures. Like you can throw the ball anywhere around DK Metcalf, and as long as you throw it around him, he's gonna catch it. Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. Because Rodgers is regressing and struggling with certain things at times, that's why he needs a target like Adams. Because there's certain guys that you can just throw it in their vicinity and they're gonna catch it. Okay? The other guys that he has doesn't do that. They're young kids still learning, even though as talented as they are. So he needs a target, always has needed a target where he can just throw it anywhere in their vicinity and they can go make the play. And that's the reason for the Devontae Adams things. But even with that, does that make them better than Buffalo now? No. Does that make them a contender or something to be a threat to Baltimore or Kansas City in the AFC? No. So we'll see how it happens over time. It is better for the team, but they still got to show me the money, bro. I don't have them winning this week.
Yeah, this week they played on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then after that, while we're on the subject talking about this week, yeah, after that they have a road game against the New England Patriots, which then they go home to play the Houston Texans. The Texans are literally dominating right now.
They're not even better than them. And the Texans are good.
In week 10, they have to face the Arizona Cardinals. Then they have a home game against the Indianapolis Colts before they go on bye in week 12. So if the Jets can get at least 2 or 3 more games for this, yeah, it's going to be hard to get even 2 or 3 games because it all depends how Devontae Adams gel with the type of offense that the Jets are trying to coordinate because Adams only received 209 yards and 1 touchdown prior to the trade. So
even if they lose this week, they need somehow way in the next 3 to 4 weeks to go on a 3-game winning streak. If they can find a way to get their record back to 5-5, I'll tell you something different. But if they can't, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. And now we get to our picks for this week in the NFL, week 7. We start off with the Denver Broncos smacking up the New Orleans Saints 33-10. Spencer Rattler passing yards about 172, and Javonte Williams had about 88 rushing yards. Man, that
no Bo Nix? Bo Nix didn't play quarterback?
Yeah, Bo Nix did play quarterback.
Denver has a really good team on the low, man. I tell you, they defend. They play defense like madmen, and they got a young quarterback. They're surprising me this year. They're better than early than the time that they were expected to be, and they might have found their quarterback. And boy, that defense. We watched that in that Denver Jets game. Boy, they played defense.
They shut them down to 9 points. I know. I mean, the Broncos. The Broncos. That win wasn't a fluke. They put 33 points against the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Okay, now we get to our picks. The New England Patriots on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars is a 9:30 game. It'll be in London. Who do you have winning that one?
Oh my goodness! I have to pick a winner for this game.
Yeah, they both stink. I know.
Oh Lord, I have no confidence in any one of those teams. I'm gonna say Trevor Lawrence finally wakes up and plays a very good game. And maybe London will be a good thing for them. I'm not high on New England. I really should pick New England to win, but I'm gonna go Jacksonville in a just disgusting, nasty London game.
Okay, Seattle Seahawks on the road against the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons.
Buffalo Bills at home against the Tennessee Titans.
Bills.
Cleveland Browns at home against the 2-4 Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati.
Houston Texans on the road against the Green Bay Packers.
Texans still undefeated, right?
I think the Texans did lose a game. Yeah, they lost a game. They're 5-1 now.
Okay, I take the Texans.
Okay, on to the next pick. The Miami Dolphins on the road against the Indianapolis Colts.
You know what? I'm gonna go Colts. They've been messing up the they've been messing up a lot of people's parlays and plays. People thinking against them, and the Colts have actually been fighting, been scrappy. I'll pick the Colts.
Okay, Detroit Lions, who are not playing around after putting up 47 and shutting down the Dallas Cowboys to 9 points. They're going to go on the road to face the Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh.
Lions or Vikings?
NFC North. That division is crazy. And that division, is that the division with the Bears too?
Yeah.
That might be that honestly might be one of the best divisions in football right now. Detroit, the Bears. Who's that also in there? Green Bay and Atlanta. That division is wicked. That's the best division in football right now. I go Detroit in a very close game. I'm just gonna go because they have the better quarterback, but Minnesota has a really good defense. Detroit can score. They guarding up too. We see what they just did last week. It's an impressive win, but we also have to remember the Dallas Cowboys defense is like water. So
yeah, the Cowboys stink at home this year.
At home, they stink on the road and they can't guard nobody. So but no, I got the Lions a close game.
Yeah. New York Giants and home against the Philadelphia Eagles. You already picked the Eagles.
Giants are losing. Stop.
Yeah, I have no faith in the Giants at all.
You don't need to win no more games. You know, I've talked about that already.
We already made that pick, so we'll skip that.
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles Rams and home against Las Vegas Raiders in SoFi Stadium.
Rams.
Washington Commanders and home against the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, it's obvious, I know.
Next, Washington.
And we get the Super Bowl rematch. San Francisco 49ers at home against the Kansas City Chiefs.
You know, my man, the Niners fan in the back, he only have no confidence. Let's you know, the Niners mess around and give the Kansas City their first loss. So let me for betting purposes, San Francisco, but I think Kansas City will win this football game.
Okay, New York Jets on the road against Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, you probably already pointed this out.
And Pittsburgh is going to win.
Tampa Bay Bucks at home against the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football.
Wow. You know what? I know what happened, but just for the sake of it, I'm gonna say a tie. I can't pick any one of these teams right now. Tampa Bay's playing really good football.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of points. Baker is scoring the football. They're defending too. Baltimore got hot again. Lamar's playing very well. I'm going tie. I can't do it. I can't pick this one. I got Tampa Bay scoring a lot of points, brother. They scoring a lot of points. And they're turning a lot of heads. I'm paying attention, so hopefully they can do me well. Tie. Pause. Tie.
Okay. Los Angeles Chargers on the road against the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm gonna go Cardinals, man. Man, was Kyler impressive the other? I'm gonna go Cardinals.
Okay. Yeah. That was this episode, Nothing But That Sports. So thank you for stopping by, Ryan Walker. And
yeah, shout out to my man Kirk Bailey. You know the radio got a rep brand. He plays through the floor thing. I gotta let him know to tap in with this Kirk. If you on Instagram, Kirk Bailey, my man Queens to Freeport to Queens, through the floor. Appreciate you for the gift.
yeah, and just a last reminder before we get to Game 4 of a possible series clincher for the New York Liberty that Sabrina Ionescu is the Queen of New York.
New York, man. Ionescu, you bet. You hear Ryan Rucco? You bet.
Ryan Walker, Rafique Louison. We'll see you next time.